I'm actually going to be unboxing the Corsair Dark Core RGB SE gaming mouse that I just picked up. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Game Tangent, the community for super obsessed gaming nerds just like myself. My name is Chris Enriquez, aka Hyper Neon. We've got a little bit of a different episode here for you today. Not a normal kind of like game stream. As you guys know, if you've been watching the stream, I've been kind of like on the hunt for a gaming mouse for a little while now. All I have currently is this this CyberPower PC, OEM mouse that kind of came with my computer. So I decided to, kind of really go. I've kind of been passively looking, and I decided to really go on the hunt to try out a new mouse. But to start things off, I'm gonna switch over to this other view here. So let's get rid of this bad boy. Well, I guess I need the mouse still. I'll put that up here for now. Get rid of my old mouse pad because I also have the new MM1000 charging mouse pad that we're also going to unbox today. That's big. We'll have to move the camera around for that. But yeah, so here it is. This is the Dark Core SE Corsair mouse. It's a wireless mouse. It's got a 16,000 Dpi optical sensor, which is absolutely insane. I don't really know very many gaming applications for a 16,000 Dpi sensor, honestly. Most of the competitive gamers that I know game at a much lower Dpi than that. Kind of those super high DPIs, I feel, are really just about a numbers race. But yeah, it does use the Qi Wireless charging. That's the SE edition here. So there's there's like a regular wireless version of this mouse that just has to plug in. It doesn't do wireless charging. But this version does do wireless charging, and that is compatible with any Qi wireless charging pad. So if you already have one for your phone, you can use that. I opted to buy the MM1000 Corsair mousepad because, as you saw when I switched over here, all I have currently is the CyberPower PC mousepad, and I wanted something a little bit better than that mousepad that came with my computer. And you can still use that charging pad, that mousepad, to charge your phone as well. So I get a little bit of a 2-in-1 there. So it let's see a little bit. It says it's ultra fast, 1 millisecond, and maybe that won't come into focus here. 1 millisecond low latency wireless. It also has a Bluetooth mode. I will say, from a lot of other reviews that I've seen, the Bluetooth can be a little bit laggy. So people generally don't recommend connecting via Bluetooth for wireless gaming. But for kind of normal office applications, that's great. Just kind of going around the box here. It's got 9 buttons, a forward and back button on the left-hand side. It's got a sniper button or a DPI clutch, if you want to call it, right in the middle of the left-hand side. And then it has a scroll wheel click left, right, and then just kind of a profile select button. I believe that's the one that's kind of right on top there. It's either profile select or DPI select, one or the other, or they're the same. It's kind of going around. I think it's kind of the main stuff. It's got, the packaging, I think, is really nice. It's got a really nice box here. You can see, you open it up, and it's just kind of like presented prominently there. I've already peeled back this sticker to open it one other time. That's why it's, it doesn't look as nice as it did when I first got it. But overall, I mean, it's really nice. It's got like this magnetic kind of click here, in here, I think, that it just kind of like snaps into place. It feels really good. So overall, the packaging is really nice. Just a couple other kind of bits of information here on the inside cover. It talks about the interchangeable side grip, which is actually a feature that I'm really looking forward to. It was kind of like one of the main things that kind of pushed me over to this mouse, because my hands are a little wide, and so I actually have a tendency to drag kind of like my pinky on the table. So having kind of that like that little lip on the right hand side of the mouse as well is really nice for me. So yeah, that's pretty much the packaging here. So it's pretty easy to open, which is pretty cool. You pull this little label, this little pull tab, and then the mouse just kind of slides. The packaging just kind of slides right out like this. And then we can, I don't think there's anything else in the box. It's just an empty box there, so we can put that aside. Pull this over here. And then, let's see, how do we open this? Just opens up just like this here. So let's see. Yeah, it's just a bit of cardboard. And then the mouse is just kind of sitting here in this plastic. So there you go. Set that aside for a moment. Yeah, and there it is. So that's the mouse there. So you can see kind of on the left-hand side, there's your forward button, your back button. There's that sniper clutch right there. And then yeah, those are the two buttons that I forgot. You do have your kind of your typical DPI up, kind of up and down is usually what these are used for. Obviously, using the Q software, any of these buttons are reprogrammable to anything you want. So then I do believe that this is profile select, yeah, because there's no profile button on the bottom here. And I know it does have onboard profile storage. I don't know how many profiles exactly, but I know you can store like at least a few profiles on here, and then you can switch through them. So then you don't even need the software, which is pretty cool. And then on the, let's see here. Yeah, so on the bottom, you just have the on. I don't know if it'll, it will turn on. There we go. I didn't know if it would be charged or not. I don't know if the colors will really kind of come through. Yep, there you go. So pretty nice. It's just kind of doing a general kind of like, pulsing kind of color change right now. Obviously you can change all that. There's 3 zones of colors on it. So you can do the scroll wheel. You can do the Corsair logo on the back. And then you can do kind of like, I think this kind of left hand side here, I think is one other color. Just this, and then as well as this kind of little light here that goes on the right hand side, I think are just one zone together. And these are your DPI kind of settings. So as you can see, as I click down and then click back up, they light up. That's all those are right there. Yeah, so there's your kind of on off, and then you also have a 2.4 gigahertz or Bluetooth switch. So you can switch back and forth with those, which is pretty nice. Kind of do that on the fly, doesn't require any other settings. My recommendation would be to leave it in 2.4 gigahertz mode if you can. So that's the bottom of the mouse. Pull this kind of sticker off here. Put that aside. And yeah, it's got the really nice slick feet on the bottom. I can't remember exactly what the type of feet are called, but every gaming mouse pretty much has the exact same pads nowadays. So let's see. So it feels pretty good just on my table. Obviously I'm going to be using it with a mouse pad, but even there, it slides around pretty nicely. Let's see. So I typically use this in a move my hand like this, you can kind of see it a little bit better. I usually use this in kind of a claw grip, and with my hand a little bit further back, so you can kind of see that. It fits really nicely in my hand. That's one of the main reasons that I chose this mouse, because I knew how it felt. I went to a Micro Center that had a ton of different mice on display, and I tried a few of them. So yeah, it fits really nicely. The kind of the thumb rests naturally on the pad here, and yeah, it's a little heavy. I will say a little bit heavier than other mice I've used. I think that's pretty much par for the course with wireless mice. But if you're not maybe like a hyper competitive gamer, that probably won't be too much of a problem for you. You know, we're talking a couple ounces or so. I think most mice are like 100 or so ounces. This is, you know, probably 2 or 3 ounces heavier than the other mouse I was using, which was just the OEM mouse. So I'm already kind of used to a heavier mouse at this point, and it's got the wireless feature, so that's pretty great. What else do we have on here? Yeah, it's got this nice kind of rubberized, bumpy texture on the back. Feels really good. And that same texture is on the left-hand side on the thumb, kind of the thumb pad here. And then the other really cool thing, let's kind of go back into the box before we do that. Just kind of finish up what was in here. Let's see. A little bit of information about firmware upgrades. I have heard some people who got this mouse early on, kind of when it released, I think earlier this year, like January, February, there were some problems with the firmware. And so it definitely recommends going to the it says right here, February 2018 Dark Core firmware. I think that fixed a lot of problems. There was a lot of disconnects that people were experiencing. So if you see a lot of early on reviews for this mouse, they're pretty negative, and it's because there was a lot of disconnects and weird stuff happening with the firmware. So they recommend front and center, go ahead, upgrade your firmware. So make sure you do that. Let's see. So we've got the USB cable here, which hopefully we will seldom ever use since it's a wireless mouse. That's kind of the whole point. But pretty nice braided cord. It just plugs right into the front of the mouse here. You can kind of see the USB right there on the front of the mouse. Just plugs in right there. And the mouse can be used while charging. So if you plug it in and you want to, if you run out of battery and you want to keep playing, you can just plug it in, keep going. It does have it says a 24-hour battery life, but from what I've read online, 24 hours is under normal use with no RGB lighting. And if you're using the RGB lights, you get somewhere around 16 hours of battery life if you have the RGB lights on. So continuing on to the box, let's see here. You've got just a USB kind of like extension here. I think just for using kind of like your own. If you want to use the USB cable, you can kind of go either way, right? You could go from it's just an adapter, USB. What is this? Micro USB to USB, I believe. I can just plug that in that way and use a regular USB if I wanted to use this cable, or I can go the other way and use my own cable if I needed an extension or something like that. And then we've got the wireless transmitter there in the box. Of course, it doesn't want to focus on that. Just got the Corsair logo on it. Side. And the really cool thing, I think, is this additional side plate for the right hand side of the mouse. So let's look into that. I don't think there's anything left in the box. This is all kind of packaged nicely, by the way. This is actually some kind of like foam, and just it looks really nice. The presentation's really nice. Okay, so kind of grabbing the mouse here. What's pretty cool is you can pull this right hand side plate off. This is actually the first time I'm doing this, and it just pops right off just like you would expect. It's pretty nice. It's just magnets that hold it on, but when it's on there, you don't even know. It doesn't. There's no wiggle. There's no give. So you wouldn't even know when you're using the mouse that is a piece that comes off. So I can feel it under my fingers. Just feels like the base of the mouse. So that's really nice. So take that off, and then we can snap this other right hand side piece on. There you see, now we kind of have the pinky and ring finger guard there, and it also has an additional kind of slide pad on it. So if I can, come off. There you go. So you can see, it just comes off. Snap it on. So it shouldn't really affect. It obviously add to the weight a tiny bit, but it really shouldn't affect your glide at all. But yeah, overall feels really good. If you're a palm kind of user, the one kind of thing is you will have that button, that sniper button that sits right underneath your thumb, which I think is fine. You know, it would be pretty hard to accidentally click unless you, I think unless you, you know, kind of do a death grip on the mouse. You know, it doesn't seem to be really prone to accidental clicking. The back button, if you're a palm user, I will say right under your thumb. Yeah, I don't really think you could hit them accidentally. I think where you would be a problem is if you're trying to hit the forward button. I think that would be the chance where, you know, if you have the mouse kind of like resting comfortably right in your palm here, and you were trying, it's that forward button is a little bit hard because of the groove. It's a little bit hard to hit. That was kind of like the only real negative that I noticed in stores. One of the only reasons that I was considering not getting this mouse is because I was having a hard time kind of hitting this forward button. So, you know, as a palm, you may end up hitting the forward button and the sniper button at the same time. So that's kind of a problem. So you may want to map that forward button to something where you can really, you know, be sure, you know, you're hitting it, you know, you're not hitting it all the time, and you don't need to be doing it in the heat of battle, right? So maybe, you know, putting a, you know, marking a waypoint, or, you know, using group me and Overwatch, group up or something like that in Overwatch, you know, kind of that type of mapping. The back button, pretty easy to hit though. And like I said, I use kind of a claw grip here. And I don't really, in that case, again, it's pretty similar even for a claw grip, where I don't have a problem hitting kind of the middle button or the back button, but that front button is kind of a little bit of a reach. That's just uncomfortable enough to kind of hit normally. The two kind of buttons on the left hand side here, the Dpi switches, they're pretty easy to hit. They feel pretty good, even kind of in like normal claw. It's pretty easy to distinguish them. I don't think I would have a problem hitting them, so I definitely plan on kind of mapping those to, you know, if I'm playing Fortnite, maybe, you know, switching my build, switching guns, and then, you know, switching build on the scroll wheel. Speaking of which, scroll wheel's a little bit looser than I would like. I mean, it feels fine. You know, the roll is good. You know, it definitely has a nice roll. There's not a lot of give to it. The click is sturdy. You're definitely not going to accidentally click it. You got to push pretty hard, but the activation is you know, pretty instant once you kind of get to that pressure point. But I generally like mice that have, it's pretty hard to tell the exact click that you're doing, so I generally like mice that kind of have a little bit more tension in the scroll wheel than this one has. But overall, feels good. Like it. You know, I haven't had a chance to kind of use it in game yet and mess around with all the sensors and all the settings, but just based on the build quality and kind of the way it fits in my hand and all that, I'm definitely glad with my purchase thus far. Cool. Okay, so that's the mouse there. Got the. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to kind of cover on this one. The programmable buttons. Oh, and it does also have surface calibration tuning in the Qi software. So depending on the you know, the surface that you're using the mouse on, or the different types of mouse pad, it'll calibrate the sensor precision to that specific surface. And it does have you know, the clicks here feel really good. See if I can get it to kind of come up on, I don't know if that audio will come up really on the microphone, but they are run switches, and they're rated for 50 million clicks. So they feel good. They feel nice and clicky. You know, I don't think you're gonna accidentally push them. So yeah, overall, really great quality. So next up, and I may have to move the camera around here for this, we have the MM1000 wireless charging mouse pad, the Qi wireless charging mouse pad. So let me actually, why don't I move this? Yeah, so this is just the you know, the kind of Corsair branded wireless mouse pad. I do wish that they had one that kind of had the RGB lighting around it, because for $80 for basically a mouse pad that has a Qi Wireless sensor in it, that's a bit pricey, I will say. The only reason, you know, it is comparable to some of the other wireless charging mouse pads, like the the Logitech one and the Razer one. I can't remember the exact names for them. The difference is, though, those mouse pads, the mouse can be charging anywhere that it is on the mouse pad. Whereas this mouse pad, as you can see kind of in the picture, it has the circle here. That's the only place where the actual charging works. So your mouse you have to leave it on there overnight when you want it to charge. It'll charge overnight, and then if you want to put your phone up there, that kind of stuff will work too. But yeah, that is the only place where it will charge. So let's put that there, and let's kind of open up. Let's see if we can get this sticker off. Probably should have pulled these stickers off beforehand, but I didn't. Bear with me just a moment. There you go. Packaging again, it's really nice, pretty packaging. Trying to see if there's anything else. It does have a USB pass-through as well, kind of on the front. It's marketed as having, so you know, USB 3 pass-through port. So you don't waste a port by using that. Yeah, there's not much else to say with it. It does come with an additional Qi Wireless charging adapter as well. Okay, so let's try to keep this all on in here. There you go. Here's your packaging. Okay. So, with maybe you can kind of see that there. Nice hard pad. So this is the wireless charging, the Qi Wireless kind of charging pad. This is like if you don't want to use the whole mouse pad, maybe you want to use your mouse somewhere else and still be able to charge it, you'd bring this with you and you'd plug this into a USB cable, and then you could just leave your mouse right on top of it. And so it's like a portable wireless charging pad. And bonus, if you want to use it for your phone or something, you can probably do that too. Alright, set that over there. Okay. Got a micro USB to USB C adapter here. And I think this is just, is this a micro to, let me see if that, I think this is a micro to, let me see. Oh. Yeah. Micro to, is that the Thunderbolt cable there for Mac, right? I believe. One, I always get them backwards. Okay. So pull this out. Cable kind of braided up under here. Nice. It's a big, thick cable, that's for sure. Come on out. There we go. You can do it. So that's, pull this out. Pull these manos out. Let me get this box out of here, because this box is absolutely humongous. There we go. Set that aside. Don't mind the noise. Okay. So, a couple manuals here. You know, warranty guide. The wireless charging mouse pad, safety and compliance information in a million different languages. No one's ever going to look at that. And a whole bunch of... Oh, it's just the instructions. Kind of... in every different language as well. Just kind of like walking you through how it works, how to charge your phone, and yeah, so you get it. You get how that works. Super thick. way thicker than I would have expected. All right, so holy crap, that I was not expecting. So it's got, interesting. Okay, so the cable comes out of here, and again, it's a big, thick, kind of braided cable. And then it goes out and it splits into two cables. So one USB 2.0 and one USB 3.0. So that means this thing is going to take up two USB ports on your computer. That's not what I had expected. That's a little bit frustrating. But it is what it is. And I guess maybe it's just because it's charging, it just draws so much power that it requires two kind of plugs to go into your computer. Yeah, board's nice and hard. And if you're looking for a cloth pad, that is not what this is. I kind of prefer the hard kind of mouse pad to the cloth pads anyways. Let's see here. Yeah, mouse just kind of glides along it. The bummer is with the hard pads, it always makes a little bit more noise. You can probably hear the noise, kind of the scraping coming through on screen. But the mouse, I mean, it just glides across that pad. Absolutely glides. It feels, you know, barely have to touch it. That's nice. That's really all there is to it, you guys. It's got, you know, kind of some rubber textured padding on the bottom so it doesn't slide around on your desk. And that's pretty much it. And then there you go, kind of, oh, and really quickly on the back, there is your USB 3.0 pass-through. So, you know, although it's taking up two USB ports, you kind of get one back if you want to plug something in to the mouse pad itself and kind of have that yet one more cable on your desk. I probably won't use it in all honesty, but it's there if you want to use it. So, and then like I said, to charge the mouse, you know, I'm not going to go through kind of like plugging this all in right now, but to charge the mouse, you would simply, once it's all plugged in, you got to put the mouse kind of like right there on the mouse pad, and then this little light here lights up to let you know once it's like once it's on the pad completely. And then similarly, if you want, you can just throw your phone on there. It's like this, and you just kind of drop your phone on and it'll pick it up and your phone will start charging. So while you're playing a game, you can be over here playing, and you know, you now have the benefit of having an extra kind of like charging. Again, like I said, it's just a standard Qi wireless charging pad, so it can be used for the majority of mobile devices. So that's pretty cool. Okay, I think that's it for this one. Look, I'm already grabbing this mouse to try and do stuff. Let me switch back over to the other view here. That's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching the unboxing. If you enjoyed the video, or if you have any questions, you know, definitely drop me a comment if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, and I will be happy to answer them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this episode of Game Tangent. My name is Chris Enriquez, aka Hyperneon, and we'll see you next time. Peace! Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching Game Tangent. If you liked the video and you enjoyed the content and you want to see a little bit more, then make sure you head on over and follow and subscribe to all our social media pages using the handle @GameTangent. And if you want to catch a few more videos like this, then you can try clicking on this one right up here, or you can subscribe right down here and find out when we're doing more stuff. I hope you will. See you next time.